Hey, Greg here, founder of www.wrestling-divaz.web.com, your source for highlighting the most beautiful and deadly entertainers in professional wrestling. My next special guest is an actress recently turned professional wrestler, as she was cast for the WoW Women of Wrestling series under David McLane. And just waiting for her to call in. She is now one half of the Bully Busters, alongside her partner, Stephanie La Marvelosa. Okay, being a lifelong fan of WoW, I am very, very excited to introduce my next special guest, new WoW superhero, Keta Rush. Hi, Keta, how are you?
Hey.
Thank you so
everyone.
much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. It's so great to have you here, and I've been a lifelong fan of WoW, so I'm just super excited to have a new WoW superhero here.
It is absolutely my pleasure.
As I've been constantly mentioning in the intro, you were recently cast under David McLane and Jeannie Buss, who is the LA Lakers EVP, to be a new performer for the WoW Women of Wrestling series. So what I would like to know from you is, when you heard about this opportunity, what was your initial reaction to it, and what really convinced you that this is something that you wanted to pursue?
What a great question. So being an actress and also kind of being a superhero in my own life, and my friends and family always calling me a superhero because I've literally saved people's lives and lots of animals' lives. When I saw the breakdowns that a TV show was casting for a superhero, initially my gut was like, I am a superhero. I'm going in for this. When I went to the audition, and it was all about athleticism and cool stuff, and I've been a track athlete and involved in gymnastics and martial arts and stuff my whole life, I just figured this would be an amazing fit, so why not go for it?
So when you went through that audition process, I know that for a fact, since I've had a couple of WoW competitors from the first series on here before, that over 1,100 girls auditioned for the first series and even more for the second. And I'm sure that when you went through the whole training aspect of it, and as girls got cut, you realized how tough wrestling is for anyone in the industry trying to pursue a career. So now that you are a professional wrestler and that you have made your debut, which was back in January at the official relaunch event, how has it changed your whole perception of what wrestling is and what these performers go through?
Man, I've watched wrestling since I was little, so I've always been, familiar with it, but not to the extent and not knowing what goes on behind the scenes and how hard and difficult and trying it is. And yeah, like you said, there were so many girls that went through the entire audition process. And even for myself, I mean, like I said, I've been athletic forever, but there's so much more that goes into it as far as like your character, your personality, what you can bring to the table, as well as being an athlete and being able to, accomplish the challenges. So for myself, it was a very trying time, and it was definitely very humbling because I didn't think I was going to make it. And I probably was like right on the line of not making it. And then I came up with my character. And then I think that's what definitely just kept me in the game. So, yeah.
So you said that you came up with your character, and of course you're one half of the Bully Busters alongside your partner, Stephanie La Marvelosa. How much of that character was actually you, and what was WoW's initial reaction to having such a powerful, headstrong character like a Bully Buster to be a part of the show?
It is completely 100% actually who I am. And I say that because my first year in high school, I was bullied for the entire year for being half black and half other. I'm half Guatemalan, half black. And so I never really fit in. I didn't get along, or not that I didn't get along. I didn't fit in with the Latinas. I didn't fit in with the black girls. I didn't fit in with the white kids or the Asian. I never really had a place And so that bullying year ended with me in the hospital, broken shoulder blade, broken ribs, punctured pancreas and liver, major concussion, and suffered from post-traumatic stress syndrome for years. Even now, sometimes I'm affected by it. But nevertheless, that changed me, and it rewired me for what I am today and what I believe in, and that is for standing up for what is right. I was always an outgoing kid, but definitely on the shyer side, more of a funny child, but not necessarily like headstrong or stand up for what I believe in. And once that happened to me, it kind of made me a bit fearless. And when it came to everyone developing their characters, and even the producers developing characters for some of the girls just by watching them and seeing like what they were good at, or going by their looks, like for instance, Fire, she had red hair, so it kind of like went with it. When it came to me, again, I was faced with, okay, you're a great athlete and you're pretty, but we don't know what to do with you. There was already, tropical, there was already Paradise, or like a Hawaiian girl. And so David was like, we think you're great. You've got a lot of potential. We just don't know what to do with you. So I was completely bummed, and I went home and I spoke to my dad about it, who was in marketing for like 16 years, and told him that we needed to come up with something really fast or I wasn't going to be on this first show. And so he told me to email him things that were very important to me. And what I feel like I was put on this earth to do and to be is to inspire people and to touch people. And I feel like I do that in my everyday life just by working out and being a vegetarian. But if I have a bigger platform, like I want to leave a message, I want to stand for something. So my dad, I sent him all of the words that were important to me and things that were important, and he actually came up with Keta, Meggett, the bully buster. And so I brought it to David, and he was like, I love it, but I think we need to find, I think we could do more with it. And so in talking with Stephanie and like some of the other girls, including Stephanie, had a very similar scenario or had experienced a form of bullying before. So that's how we partnered up and became the Bully Busters. And then because I ran track my whole life, and I'm fast, we added the rush part. So that's how I became Keta Rush, the Bully Buster.
So when approaching this character, and that was a lot to process at once, and I'm sure that there were many difficulties for you back in high school, as you said, from PTSD to bullying to everything like ethnicity. But when you're in the wrestling ring, you have to embrace a lot of fears and a lot of difficulties with coping with the physical side of wrestling. So in pursuing wrestling, what are some new challenges that have come up in your life that you now have to face and overcome in order to get back into the ring?
Well, for one, learning how to fall and take a fall and get hit and stuff was all something very, very new, completely challenging for me. And actually, Lana Starr was an inspiration for me because I am petite. I'm kind of small, so a lot of the other girls are bigger than me. So it seemed like it'd be easier for them. And when I saw Lana get in the ring during, practices and stuff, I was like, man, if this girl could do it, I could totally do this. So when I saw her, learn how to fall, learn how to hit, and well, being that she had already known how, but getting back in the ring, because I guess it had been a minute since she'd been in there, it was all very cool because I just watched her and I was like, man, if she could do it, I could do this. So I just kind of gave it my all, but those were all very fearful things. Even hitting the ropes, I swear my back and my butt looked like I got hit by a car every day. I was bruised and I was like, is this normal? And I remember asking one day in practice, there was about 30 girls in there, and I was like, does anyone else's butt look like this? And I showed like one of my butt cheeks, and everyone was like, oh my God, mine does too, but I was scared to say it. And I was like, man, I thought I was the only one. But yeah, it's all scary, but it's fun at the same time. I mean, I couldn't think of doing anything else. I get to be myself. I get to act. I get to inspire people. I get to be athletic. It's like the best thing that could have ever happened.
So to make the most out of your character, I've heard many people say that the most important thing that one has to do is connect with the fans. So when you lace up your boots as a member of the Bully Busters and perform out there, whether it be in front of a crowd of 100 or 1,000 people, what do you want people to take away from you and your character that will make you memorable?
I want them to take away the fact that it is important to stand up for yourself and don't let anybody bully you. If I would have known that my simple mouth years ago, that first year in high school, had I said to those people, stop freaking bullying me, and like told somebody immediately instead of just thinking it was normal or hoping it would go away or being intimidated, had I even just said that, I think it would have made a complete difference, because they would have seen like, oh, you can't, maybe, wow, this girl kind of has some gut to her, you know. But I want everybody, whether it's children, parents, whomever, like teach your kids walk away knowing, stand up for yourself, and if you see anyone else getting bullied, stand up for them too. Like, I know people saw what happened to me happening, and had they even said something, I'm sure it would have made a difference. So stand up for what you believe in. If you see something that's happening that's wrong, say something about it, do something about it, and the time is now. Don't wait. People's lives are being affected. Children are losing their lives because of bullying. I could have lost my life had I hit my head, harder than it got hit or whatever. Like, it just stand up for what you believe in and put an end to bullying today.
So obviously they looked over a lot of girls, and of course your character sounds all you and very original in that sense, but let's hypothetically say that they had in mind the Bully Buster character for another girl. What do you think makes you different than any other girl that would have been considered for that type of role had they come up with it?
The passion that I have for this movement. I mean, I not only want to inspire people through Wow, Superheroes, the TV show, but the fact that in my everyday life, I represent that character as well. Like, I've actually become the Bully Buster. Like, I just am. That's who I am. So I don't think anybody else could bring what I bring to the table, along with having the experience of being bullying, but the gut and the passion behind it is priceless, and I don't think anyone else has that.
Now, as mentioned before, you're also a professional actress, and of course, in wrestling, the physicality is one thing and a whole another monster to attack as far as getting used to all the bumps and the bruises. But as far as character development, many say that acting and wrestling is very similar. So would you agree with that statement, and how do you separate, okay, this is an acting role versus this is a wrestling match?
That was something that was actually really easy for me, because I do have the acting background, and I watched girls who were better wrestlers than me, or, got it maybe quicker than me, but didn't have the acting. Like, as far as, selling, because it is a show, they didn't have that. So it's something that I'm blessed with as far as the talent of being able to, portray whatever is happening. And I think it's super important, and I'm just really blessed in that area to be able to tie it together. But without my acting background, I don't know, probably would have been difficult. Like I said, I saw it happen. I saw people that were better athletes that didn't have the skill to get into their character. But I feel like I'm at a cool advantage because my character is myself. So I'm not really acting, like I just am not. That's really who I am. I walk around and I'm a superhero in my everyday life.
Now, to make a show work, many in the industry would say that you have to find a time and place for everyone and everything. And it seems like you've definitely found your place to be a part of this experience and be a part of this movement. But going forward, ideally speaking, what would you like to do with this whole bully busting movement? Because especially in the past couple of years, it has become an extremely mainstream topic amongst different media outlets.
With outside of WoW, I want to take the entire bully buster concept and just make it an entire movement. So as we speak, it's in development currently to have a website, to have shirts, to interview people that have been bullied, such as like Mariah Carey or Taylor Lautner, like people that are famous that are either actors or singers or athletes that have experienced bullying and how they overcame it, and any tips that they have for people that are currently getting bullied or even to the bully, or how to, if you happen to see someone getting bullied, what you can do about it. And I'll be interviewing all of these people. So I'm really excited about that whole thing just because I feel like WoW Superheroes really like opened that door for me to even put thought into this becoming something more and more helpful. And like I said, just I think the perfect word that describes it is a movement. And I think it's important, and the time is so right now.
So us wrestling fans are always on the outside trying to look in, and there's only so much we can see and experience being on the outside. A lot of fans don't see that there's a lot of stress that goes into pursuing a career, to keeping up a certain image, to training, to getting those opportunities, to getting the title shot, and the politics that come in with that. How has that adjustment to the whole backstage scene been to you? Because it can be very discouraging to some people who might not handle rejection or whatever the case is very well.
Right. I've learned to just stay away from the politics. Like, I'm not on the production side. They know what they're doing, and I'm just an actress and a wrestler on their show. So I just go with the flow. I don't really involve myself in that stuff. There's storylines. I'll give ideas, but in the big picture, I don't know what they're thinking, and it's not my job to, like I'm not one of the executive producers, so I don't necessarily have a say. But as far as like giving my input or ideas, of course, that's just who I am. I'm always going to share those. Hopefully they're taken. If not, it's all good. And as far as like a shot at the title belt, I mean, I think that it would be awesome and amazing, whether it's by myself or whether it's with Stephanie. I'm just up for the challenge. I love it. So I'm down for it. I'm down for whatever.
They always say that once you enter the wrestling industry, you never, ever truly leave it. So whether WoW takes off to the expectations that people think it will or not, how do you think what you've done in wrestling so far will affect the rest of your life, for better or worse?
Oh, it's affected my life tremendously. I mean, the fact that I used to have very bad anxiety. It came from getting beat up in that first year in high school. And I used to not be able to go into public places like arenas. I couldn't even go to church or the movies. The older I got and the more used to I got to learning how to control my asthma, that would immediately kick in if it felt like there were too many people around me. And so dealing with, going through this WoW superhero experience has knocked that right out of the ballpark. Like, walking into the ring and there's 5,000 people watching you, I can't, like, anxiety is not a word that I would ever use anymore. It was like pure happiness. So for that alone, I'm already changed. And then two, it's opened so many other doors for me. Literally, when we went on hiatus, I got an audition for a Powerade commercial to wrestle, and I wouldn't have even been in that audition had I not had the experience. And then again, with a Gatorade commercial, I had to fight, and not that wrestling is fighting, but it definitely gives you that upper arm on human contact, because it's not every day that you're like that close to other people. I mean, sure, you hug your friends, but it's way different. I mean, you're vulnerable. You're putting your life pretty much in other people's hands. Like, that whole aspect of wrestling, I think, has already made me a way better person. So much to the point where now I'm heavily active in jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, and I'm going to compete soon. But all of that stemmed from being cast in WoW Superheroes. Like, I would have never even had an interest in any type of sport that was like that. I ran track, I played ball, and I did gymnastics. All are, like, individual. You're not touching, you know what I mean? Like, you're not wrestling or touching or fighting. It's not like that. So now that I've had this contact type of sport, I'm addicted to it, and I love it. So literally, I train 6 days a week in Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu, and that's what I do in my spare time. I mean, it's fun. And that's all because of WoW.
I am really, really eager to hear your answer to this question, given everything that you've been through up to this point in your life. If you could sum up your experience with professional wrestling using just one word, what would that one word be?
Freedom. It gave me freedom.
And before we get to how fans can contact you, you mentioned earlier that you kind of really want to bring a new stimulus to the whole anti-bullying movement, and you really want to get something going with celebrities. How can people who are, struggling with that or not struggling with that get involved locally with their own movement? Because I think with bullying, we're all in this together, and no one's kind of left alone.
Right. Okay, that was like a two-part question. So which part? Ask me again.
Well, if people wanted to start like a anti-bullying movement in their local community, what is some suggestions that you could give them to do that?
Okay, cool. So right now it's in development. We've already got like all the trademarks and copyrights and all that to Bully Buster and Team Bully Buster. So the Twitter, the Facebook, the website is Team Bully Buster, and just stay tuned to that, and we'll be giving really cool notes, and hopefully I'll be touring around the country, and just hoping everybody in their own community starts to, like, I hope it's like a tree of life, like just branches everywhere where people are for Team Bully Buster, and we're going to have shirts made and bracelets and buttons and just things that are motivational, period. So just stay tuned, and we'll keep you posted.
Excellent. And I know that you have a couple of contacts, whether it be outside or inside of WoW. So how can fans contact you about everything that you're up to and be up to date with that, whether it be wrestling or acting or the anti-bully movement?
You can friend me on Facebook at Keta Rush. That's my character's name. And then there's also the Team Bully Buster Facebook page. So I'll be putting everything up on that once we get going. But I try to update as much as possible with whatever's going on, that's good things that is worth sharing.
Well, fantastic. And, Keta, I just have to say that now that I understand your personal story, I have so much respect for everything that you've been doing. It's not easy to rise above a traumatic experience like that, and I know this because I'm currently studying psychology. So I just really hats off to you and everything that you're doing, and I can't I can't even find the words to express the admiration that I have for you. So thank you so much for your time, and I'll be sure to keep everyone updated about the bully movement. But again, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Greg. It's an honor to just even be a part of this, and thank you for wanting to know about me, and thank you, everyone, for listening. And if you have any questions, go to Keta Rush Facebook, and I will be more than happy to answer anything.
Well, great. Thanks to everyone else for tuning in. Be sure to check out www.wrestling-divaz.webs.com for more updates, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at Wrestling Divaz, again with a Z at the end, for all the latest teasers and comments.